Hello, Level 10. So you have an assignment for an annotated bibliography. In case you missed our riveting class today, I have created this short video for you to help you along the way. So let's get on without further ado. What is an annotated bibliography? Well, basically it's a list of references with little paragraphs underneath, which are called annotations. Okay, so depending on your assignment, this bibliography may be the first stage of a larger project, or it may just be an assignment in and of itself. For our purposes, it is the first step of our assignments because we will then follow it with an outline and then you will write an essay. Okay? Next, we have the purpose. What is the point of actually making an annotated bibliography? Well, basically, it's to evaluate possible sources that you might think are useful for your essay. Now, we've talked about how to evaluate sources and different types of sources. So now you just need to start looking for them and doing some reading and going a little bit further than just skimming the titles. You should also always have a question ready to help guide your research. For example, have some areas of interest. You don't want to limit yourself too much, but at the same time, you don't want to be taken off track because you don't know what your focus is. So have a few notes after your brainstorming. Have a few notes of maybe one research question with a few different terms you could use, and then start finding some ideas. Oh, my face is here now. Okay, so the next stage is what are the different parts of an annotated bibliography? Well, basically, we know it's a list of sources, right? In your case, I am asking you to find 2 sources only. Okay, most annotated bibliographies include like 15 sources if you were writing a big paper at a university. However, we're just gonna give it a try with 2. I only want academic sources. Again, your teacher will always tell you if they want a variety of different types of sources or not. I do not. I want you to focus on academic journals only 2, okay? And once you've got the ones you think you would like to write your annotations about, you should cite them properly in a proper APA reference style. You know where to find how to do that in your content applied. There's the APA 7th edition, or you could just use the library and put those citations in there, okay? But that's the first step. The second step is that you need now to do some thinking, okay? After reading your article, you have to write a little paragraph on it. Okay, this paragraph for this class, I'm only asking for 150 to 200 words. Again, when you move on, you should always read the instructions because some people want larger annotations that have more information. But for our purposes, this is just sort of step A in making an annotated bibliography. I just want up to 200 words, okay? It should include a brief summary of your source and then your opinion on the source. How do you do that? Well, the first step is summarizing. So you must first briefly restate the main argument of the source, okay? Typically, when you're using an academic source, you should say, okay, this is the thesis of or the hypothesis, or maybe even the research question. Look at the methods of investigation. All right, was this a quantitative study or a qualitative study? How many people were involved? Where was it? Where did it take place? So a few details about how they did their investigation or their research. And then what were the main conclusions that the authors came up with? Okay, you may not simply copy and paste the abstract. That is not what I'm looking for. You need to have a little bit more of critical thought and opinion when you are writing this summary, okay? Some tips when you're reading. Read the introduction and the conclusion first fully. You should be able to extract the main ideas from those two things. Look for repetition of ideas throughout the article, maybe similar words, similar ideas. That's going to help you really figure out what the main idea is. Look at the research methods, okay? Maybe even the way things are organized. Maybe your article has different sections, different titles. These are things that will help you get the main gist of what the authors were trying to say. And also look for words that, like, I call them summary markers. It might not be in the conclusion section or the summary section. Things might not be totally obvious, but you will see words like in sum, in conclusion, in brief, to sum up. These are some of the markers that you might see that signify they are giving you their main ideas. After you do the summary part, you hit the opinion part. Now, this part's a little bit more difficult, but generally speaking, you should just assess the value of your source. Basically, is this source useful to my essay, and how? How am I going to use this research? How is it important? Okay, so identify the intention you have of using the source. Here's an example from my dear friend Laura DeTrolio. She has just finished her master's, and her topic was to do with education and drama for teaching teachers how to utilize their resources. Okay, so her annotated bibliography was not for a paper. It was a project in and of itself. But let's have a look here. We have in pink here is the APA citation. Authors, year, title of the article, the name of the journal. The page numbers and sections are also here because obviously it was in a larger volume with more than just one article. She does things like in this qualitative study, so it's describing what kind of a study was done. And she says the authors explore, okay? This is a reporting verb. You should know what these are, and I will give you a list of them. But she talks about the authors explore, the authors examine. This insight is relevant for teachers, okay? And near the end, she says, this study offers valuable So this is about the length that I'm looking for, and this is how it should look. Double spaced, a space between the reference and the paragraph, and it should be, as I said, between 150 to 200 words. Okay, I will also post a larger sample of a different annotated bibliography for you, but in your assignment there are several links to different learning sites that have examples. So please feel free to poke around before you do your own and see what other people have done and what we're expecting, okay? Keep in mind, some of the things you read will be very complicated. We are simply asking you to do a brief summary and then say how it's useful for your project. We are not expecting you to do huge amounts of analysis or any of the other things that you might read if you do a little bit more looking into this. Here are a few words that you might find useful. These are mostly reporting. Some of them are reporting verbs, okay? Some phrases, the evidence indicates that, or the article assesses the effect of, the author identifies 3 reasons for, the article questions the views that, la la la, da da da, blah 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 blah. And here are a few other words that you might find useful in the writing of your annotated bibliography. So that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoy researching and reading and thinking about your topic, and at the end, enjoy creating your bibliography. Good luck.